Thank you, Hannah, and welcome back. So, we started with Angelos, great start, and we understand how stressful being a design ops practitioner can be, and how often it can happen. It happened to me that we just overlook ourselves and we forget that well being is important. So I'm particularly excited about Alexandra's talk, not only because Alexandra is doing an amazing work. She created the DesignOps Latam community, which is probably one of the most active and engaging DesignOps community in the world, not English speaking, so all the content is quite unique. But I've known her for quite some time, and she's just brilliant. So Alexandra will literally help us to do some self-reflection about our role and the importance of well-being. And that's particularly relevant for her fun fact, because Alexandra's fun fact is that apparently she had COVID not once, not twice, 3 times, and always at the worst possible times. You know, would you want to have COVID during your birthday? No, that happened twice. Or would you like to have COVID when you have a trip with your girlfriends to Cancun to enjoy the sun, the beach, and the fun? No, but that happened to her. So, despite that, if we have to start talking about metrics and how we can look and quantify and bring tangible impact to our stakeholders and to the business, Alexandra is very focused on employee retention rate. So I don't want to steal more time from Alexandra and your questions. So make sure you ask your questions in the Q&A session. And Alexandra, take us to our wellness journey. We need it.
Thank you, Patricia. Really happy to be here with you today. And thank you for the introduction too. So let me share my screen so I can start this presentation. Okay. So hello, thank you for joining me today. We're going to talk about this topic, prioritizing the well-being of the DesignOps professionals. A little introduction about myself. My name is Alexandra. I was born in Lima, Peru. I studied business administration, so sadly, my background is not design. I'm in DesignOps practice since 2018. A couple of years ago, I founded the DesignOps Latam community, as Pat mentioned. We have grown so much in the last year. We have created more than 100 different contents with the help of regional volunteers. And our first conference actually will be in 3 weeks from now, completely in Spanish. I love to travel, I love to networking with the community, and I truly aspire to inspire. I grew up in Venezuela and I moved back to Peru, where I finished my bachelor degree in 2014. In 2018, I started at BBA Bank in Peru, where I was introduced to the DesignOps practice. Then I went to RIMAC, a Peruvian insurance company, where I initiated the role for the first time. Then I moved to Colombia to work at Huge, and now I have accomplished 3 months at BCP Bank in Peru, where for the first time I have a DesignOps team. And last year I proudly finished my master's degree in human resources management. So today I want to start this presentation reminding a little about this amazing practice we took as a job. We truly love to look after the design team. Normally we solve these kind of questions. What do they need? What are their struggles? How can we improve their experiences? Are they advancing in their career? Do they feel comfortable in the team? How can I support them also? And all these questions and topics around are completely fine. However, how often someone is asking all these questions to the DesignOps professional? As every team member of the design team, we also have dreams and goals to achieve, have personal issues to solve, are struggling with all the scope we need to cover on the DesignOps menu, are trying to figure out how to be helpful for a big team. We are humans with emotions, with doubts, and with feelings. Have we ever asked ourselves who is looking after the DesignOps team? In Latin America, we are actually a step behind from other countries because besides of all the previous topics, we need to focus on making the team understand what is DesignOps. I mean, this is a big let's go back to basics. Why are we here? Of course, we are not doing micromanagement. How do we work? We also have processes to follow. Processes that are questioned by different members of the team. So we need to remind them that the different initiatives that are in our scope don't depend only on us. Sometimes I think we are going on the same path like the designers did a while ago, standing up for their practice, which actually still happens a lot in Latam. So now DesignOps is trying to defend the job, the scope, the time, and the process. Okay, so now let's see how do we start here. As I mentioned before, let's go back to the basics. This might be very clear for the most of people here, as you may be the DesignOps of your team, or you may be the design leader that have hired a DesignOps. But there is nothing wrong on having a friendly reminder. I'm going to summarize this on 5 points of view. Our big scope, the relevance of prioritizing, our systemic thinking, the relevance of being flexible, and the empathy we need to have towards the team. Of course, we know we have a pretty big DesignOps scope to cover. Here we can see some of the frameworks presented by the expert along the journey of the last years. This might be a lot for someone that is just starting on the position. We know there is a lot of information online, so please, in any stage you are in the DesignOps role, don't overwhelm yourself. You are not supposed to do or know everything you see on the screen. Be aware that it is impossible to be expert on everything or to be able to cover all the elements of the menu at once. And not only that, it still depends on the skills you have. Also, we need to focus on what the team needs today. Design system, for example, might be really important for the design teams in general. But if I don't have even a design background, as it is my case, how am I supposed to help on this? Or what happens if I realize that this topic is not that relevant for the team right now? And that is why we need to understand the needs of the team and solve the correct problems. Don't forget to do a listening tour when arriving to a new team and keep doing this with some cadence. This will help the role focusing on what is important and to deliver what the team needs now. If we work as a silo, we are not going to be seen as helpful for the team. The team will start solving by themselves their problems, and a lot of miscommunications will arise. In the context of being helpful for the team, remember, support the team as much as you can, but do not make them depend on you. That would be the worst thing to do. Then, in everything we do, we have to be aware of the different stakeholders around. So let's bring some design tools that can help us on this, like a stakeholders map or ecosystem map, for example. Embrace the systemic thinking that characterizes us so much. That will be the only way that to understand who can be my ally, how can I deal with each stakeholder. Some of them might be more difficult than others. We need to understand their specific needs, the frequency they ask for things, the expectations they have, the best way of contacting them. And hey, don't reinvent the wheel. There might be already something documented or it has been done before in a way or another. Not only inside the design team, but also external stakeholders that may have some answers for our struggles. And talking about doing so much, we need a structure to be organized and to plan for what's coming. And planning it's okay, but there is always something new on a daily basis. If we start micro-planning, planning every week at every millimeter without being conscious that I need to set up like free time for the day-to-day needs, we are gonna go crazy. And let's be clear that this will vary a lot depending on the team you are on, the maturity of design, and the maturity of DesignOps in your organization. DesignOps is very dynamic. the working environment, and the designer's needs challenge us every day. DesignOps career is not linear, and everyone's journey will be different. Instead of doing this micro-planning, we can set general goals for the next trimesters, for example. Have a clear goal as a team in a defined set of time, even if you are a DesignOps team of one. And the last point of view is that the DesignOps look after the design team. At the end, that's why we're here, right? And that's great. That's what motivates us. However, if we are the only ones responsible of their happiness, we are not going to be able to cover it all. Normally, they are a huge design team. We need to get them involved on an operational perspective. If not, we are lost. Design up is not only a role or a responsibility of one person or one team. It is also a mindset that might be cultivated along the team, because they need to have accountability on the experience while they are on the team. They are the ones that are hands-on on the project, so they know about the best practices, tools, and processes that must be scaled for the rest of the team. This mindset needs to be developed in every level, on every role. I will touch on this point as we go along. After mentioning these 5 points of views, let's start talking about our well-being. And also, I divided this in 6 main ideas. To consider a self-reflection, to be close to the community, a reminder for not forgetting on setting boundaries, to analyze the scope of your role in your company, to reinforce again the DesignOps mindset, and if you have a DesignOps team, to look after them. About the self-reflection, this includes 3 parts. First of all, ask yourself, where is your role in the team right now? What are your challenges, the priorities, the support you have? Then ask yourself, where do you want to be? Which is your short and long-term goals? Do you want or do you need to hire more people on your team? And at the end, what do you need to get from one point to the other? And this involves maybe resources, contacts, and so on. Picture this as a start and then divide it by stages to go through it little by little without asking too much of yourself. I know you can with everything, but not everything at once. On second hand, the DesignOps community is a lovely community. We are so supportive to each other. Remember, you are not supposed to have all the answers, and don't reinvent the wheel. It is just amazing how open we are about sharing knowledge and experiences. The struggles that you have right now, other DesignOps may have already gone through a similar path. There might not be a secret formula for every initiative we do, but their learnings and reference will help us a lot. Here I can mention the communities that have helped me tons. The DesignOps Assembly community, the Rosenfeld community, the DesignOps Friends of Figma, the DesignOps LOL. Of course, we are here at the Henry Stewart's event, and the DesignOps Latam community that I founded. And the message here is to encourage you to take part of the events this community hosts. Contact the person you read an article about. There might be more useful information in a direct conversation. Don't be afraid of joining their Slack community and ask questions. There are not wrong questions at all. The worst that can happen is that they are struggling with the same thing as you, so there are not yet references developed. And invite them to have conversation with your team. That's the great thing about having a community that looks for your back. This third point is one of the most important. Setting boundaries is key, but more important is to ask yourself, does my team know about these boundaries I have? Going back to being humans, we may have low days, and that's okay. This may be obvious, but there is nothing wrong on reminding to ask for respect in general, all the time. We are all colleagues, professionals, and humans. Set official communication channels so they understand how is the best way to contact you and how to officially send the request they have. Set office hours. We are not 24/7. We also have a personal life, hobbies, and a mental health to take care of. And say no when needed. Don't wait to be at your worst moment because you can't take it anymore. Raise your voice when you see that you need more time, space, and comprehension. Then, if you are starting on the DesignOps role, there is something to consider. Many of your tasks, I'm sure, have been done by someone else. For them, it might be difficult to delegate those design ops tasks. So you will need to work very close with them to see how to take more ownership on these new responsibilities. And if the design ops role is not that new, anyway, remember that you don't work alone. So you need to limit your role with others. There are so many blur lines with the other roles, for example, between practice leaders as UX leads, UI leads, that if you don't set up who is in charge of what, we are inviting chaos to the table. And this scope point is not only related with the not design ops roles, but also when you have a design ops team. In that case, you need to define what is your scope right now, according with the priorities of the team. Again, we can't cover all the design ops menu at once, but we may have a base to start and build on. We need to delegate topics, elements, initiatives, or pillars to the team according on how is your team structure. And hey, don't keep this to yourself only, but socialize it with the whole design team so they know how you can support them and what stage of any process is on your side. And don't forget on defining an attention model for ops with times, contacts, dependencies, so you don't go crazy with all the requests. And now we are here again talking about the design ops mindset. Remember this graphic? So in order to put this into practice, we can ask the team to ask themselves some general questions in 3 different levels. About myself as a designer, am I clear about the purpose of my role? About the team I'm in, do I understand how I add value to the project I'm in today? About my relation with the design leadership, do I feel supported by them? But in addition to these general questions, team members should delve into these more specific ones. From the designer perspective, do I know how my role contributes to the project? Am I clear about the priorities? Am I doing repetitive tasks? And what about the design team perspective? Do I know what my colleagues are working on? Are we sharing knowledge with each other? What collaboration spaces do we have? And on the design leadership side, do they help me grow in my career? Are they assigning the correct projects to the correct designers? Do they help me to adapt to the team culture? We really need to encourage them to put this into practice and ask them to actively be part of the design ops practice, contributing from their role. Doing this self-reflection will help them to realize that some things are not working on the best way possible. If we are on the same page, we will contribute on having a better talent development, mental health, connection with the culture, and so on. Even if there is no design ops, even if there is no design ops role in the team at all. And last but not less important, we have mentioned that we need a lot to cover. Things may not be as we expected sometimes, even if you are starting a position where you are beginning to understand how to implement design ops in this new context, as it is my case. This can actually be a lot for your team you have. So let's try to understand how much is this affecting them. This is an exercise I did with my team a while ago. We put on this side all the pains that they have, and on the other side, their motivations, expectations, and needs. We can clearly see that there was no balance. If we don't have a pause in this journey and not analyze what is going on with the team, they might be on an automate mode that they can even be productive because they feel too overwhelmed. On the other side, we can do an exercise to understand the strengths as team and as individual contributors, what opportunities we have to improve as a team, what are the ones that are in the design team and the company that can help us on being a better design ops practitioners, and what are the threats that can affect my operation and motivation. And then we can also analyze the level of effort they put and what impact they are having on each activity. They may be focusing on things that are not valuable for the team today, so we will need to refocus the north we're following. So I want to finish this presentation with some friendly reminders, not only for the DesignOps practitioners, but also for the ones that hired us. You are not supposed to give your 100% every day, one step at a time. Listen to yourself, what your body is trying to tell you. Don't forget to be fully honest with your team. Be sure you know how you feel. You might be surprised that they are going to support you and have your back. You can open yourself. There is nothing better than to speak with the truth instead of picturing you as a superhero. And about the rest of the team, it is okay to say, I don't know. You don't have all the answers, but you may help them to find them. It is important to be careful with our vocabulary. Don't focus on the negative side of everything, even if you are frustrated or tired with the day to day. Expressing only negative things to your team will generate a low vibe and you will be trapped on a loop. Let's focus on the solution more than the problem. Be sure your personal purpose have a relation with the one of your DesignOps role. If not, your job will be more difficult and it will feel as you are not growing and developing personal and professionally. You are the one that sets your limits and boundaries. You are the one that defines how much something affects you. You are the one that know how much effort you are putting on this job. Remember how much value you bring to the team. It is a matter of perspective. If I'm good to myself, everything is going to be okay. And please, leaders, don't make our job harder than it could be. Hire a DesignOps when you know you need to scale, you need documentation, you need to have all the team on the same page. If you wait until you have 100 designers to hire the first DesignOps, there will be so many things to improve. So the brand new DesignOps will ask you for time, patience in order to develop things one by one, clarity on the priorities on the team, and of course, resources to implement some initiative. Don't wait too much to make this decision. So thank you very much.
Thank you. It's always good to be reminded of all the things that we should be more mindful of. And you touched on something I really, really care, that every time we say yes to everything, we say implicitly no to many, many things. So that's absolutely fantastic. So great moment of reflection. We have a few questions, so I start with Robert. So Rob is asking, how do you separate responsibilities between design line managers versus design operations?
It all depends on the company you are, and you have to have you need to have tough conversation with the managers. So you're not gonna have a formula online or an article that you can read about the responsibilities and the blur lines between the roles, but you have to sit all the stakeholders in a table and to understand and how are we going to collaborate in some of the tasks. So I encourage you to have this difficult conversation with them because I have been through also on the situation that for example, the design managers are not comfortable delegating some things that they were doing in a while because there was not a design ops on the team. So please have this conversation, do some workshops maybe with them because you need to build the clarity that you need in your team. It only depends on your team and the reality that you have.
Awesome. And there's a follow-up question to that from anonymous user saying, how do you measure if it's working?
Well, I think I'm talking about metrics. I think this is not like a metric we can measure every month, but you will realize about the attitude that the team have, the bad requests that you receive, or the bad attitude that the team was before. So if you start like working better together, collaborating better, you are going to see that the communications flow very well then. It's more like a non-metric thing that you can measure with a specific number. You are going to measure that with the relation you build with the team.
There are so many questions. I'm just struggling to pick the next one. So let's go with John. John is asking, understanding that all organizations' challenges are unique, did you note any trends in the types of pain points designers feel if you have done the exercise at more than one company?
I think I can talk about the Latam perspective, and as I mentioned, we are going back to basics because when I have gotten to a new design team in the last 3 opportunities I have had, the problem has been that they don't know what design ops do in the team, or why are we here if their leader is doing some similar things. So for from the Latam perspective, the challenges are to incorporate and to team members understand what is design ops, how can I support them, so they don't ask us requests that are not design ops tasks, because maybe I can speak, as I mentioned, from Latam perspective. They always think like we are nannies, we are the police, that we are controlling them, or we are just scheduling, I don't know, the meetings they have, when we can add a lot more value to the team. So I think it's important to understand, for me now that I have a big team, that we are almost 150 designers with a design ops team of 7 members. It was chaos. It is still chaos right now, even if I have 3 months in the team. So now that I understand what's happening to design ops here, I'm planning this October to explain all the team how are we structuring, how is our attention model, who is in charge of what, and what I also expect from them, and is start working a lot with the design ops mindset, as I mentioned.
Fantastic. And I have to ask when this question, because ties into what you just mentioned. So, how do you up-level the need for more design ops headcount in the face of hiring freezes, obvious needs from the design team side? So, part of prioritizing your well-being for sure.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm hiring a new member in my team. Even if I'm even I am quite new in the team, but I realized that my team, that they are 7 members, they are doing so many operational tasks, and their motivation is really low. The tasks that they are doing are not matching with the expectation that they have when they got to the team. So I realized that I really need to take off their task and or activities that they are doing so operational and tactic, and I'm hiring this junior position to start receiving and delegating to this position all these operational tasks, because I need the team to focus on design ops impact for the team. It is not easy to ask for a new I don't know, a new headcount for the team. It was in my case, I didn't present like a case for this. I know some colleagues that have done this before, but I think it all depends on visualizing and sharing. In my case, with the head of design, the team is trapped in 80% of their time in these tactical things. We are not doing design up, so I really need to start putting the team on the same page on a design of framework. So I hope that this new person that is joining the team next month, we can, with welcoming him, we can start doing some changes and motivate more the team, because I'm really worried about the how is the team feeling right now.
Fantastic. We are up time, but in 30 seconds, Olga is asking, how do you build trust with the team? But really 30 seconds, or the organizer will be upset?
I think it's working really close with them, listening to them. The first thing that I did with my team when I got to the bank was doing like my listening tour one-on-one with each member, and every month we have been doing some workshops in order to like retrospective with the team, and I think it's the only way to accomplish this is to be close with them, to have also this difficult conversation with them, and to ask them what do they need and what do they want on their career here in the company.
Fantastic, Alexandra. This was absolutely what we needed, or at least what I needed to hear. And I think a lot of us will go away with some good food for thought. So we have now, you go in the chat and you can still see an answer. So let's keep talking. What if I tell you that design operations is too important to be left to designers? Now, that's a provocative title from someone that always feeds me with amazing food for thought. So join the next talk in the next room, because it's going to be another inspiring, amazing, transformative talk. See you on the other side, and thank you.
Thank you. Bye.